So everyone, welcome to Super Jam Podcast. My name's David, and today we're so lucky. We have got a guest artist in on the podcast, Andrea von Kampen, zoomed in all the way from Nebraska. Andrea, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, we're absolutely buzzing to have you here. I'll introduce everyone to my co-hosts as well. I've got Lily. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing great.
We got Lois as well. How are you doing, Lois?
I'm doing good. It's been a stressful week, though.
Oh, you've had a lot of gigs yourself, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yes, we got musicians in the room today as well. And yeah. I've got Tyler as well. How you doing, Tyler?
I'm doing good.
Good to have you here as well. This is magic. So I thought I'll give everyone who's listening a bit of an introduction. So Andrea's a Nebraska-based singer-songwriter, and the music blends kind of intimate storytelling, poetic lyrics, and warm acoustic arrangements. Has had over 60 million Spotify streams, has had a track in a feature film, which we're going to talk about as well, which we found in our research. Releases on Fantasy Records, and has even performed at major festivals, including the Newport Folk Festival, and built a bit of a global following off all that. And the 2024 album Sister Moon came out and explored humanity's relationship to nature and earth. And her latest EP is like a protest EP channeling urgency, hope, and solidarity. And there's some of the tracks we actually listened to off those releases, Andrea, as well. So hopefully that little introduction's all right with you.
That was wonderful.
I'll do my best. So yeah, what I think we'll do is we'll have a little chat about we're in the UK, like we said, and you're in Nebraska. So Lois, you were wanting to find out a little bit about that, weren't you?
Like, what's it like to live there? Is it any different to the UK?
Yes, it is very different. One thing I'll say is the weather is incredibly extreme. Like whenever I travel to the UK, I'm always shocked at how cold and rainy it is, just like every single day. You can go in July and it will be cold and rainy. People are wearing like puffer jackets. In Nebraska, the winters are very cold. Like we're saying like 0 degrees, sometimes like -20 wind chills. And today is 97 degrees.
Whoa.
And this is something I always tell people and they're always so shocked about. So I live in a very like agricultural place. We're sort of like the breadbasket of America. And even though my city is 300,000 people and I'm by Omaha with 1 million people, like in between all of our cities are just like fields of corn. And because corn is a tropical plant, when July hits, our weather is similar to the tropics because the corn releases so much humidity. So it's sort of called like corn sweat. And so like our summers are similar to a tropical environment and our winters are like brittle, bone dry, cold with like the wind whipping. So our extremes are very different from sort of British Isles weather. So I would say that's one of the big differences. But then also, like our state is sort of like the size of your country. And so we just are very spread out. Like even though I live in an urban area, we just have like a lot of land and space and we have to drive everywhere because it's really spread out. So I think like just geographically it's very different, and then our history is rooted in such different things too. Like we don't have 2,000 years of Romans and history and architecture and culture. Our culture is so different, and it started with the indigenous people here in Nebraska. Like Nebraska is like a word that's indigenous that means flat water because our state used to be completely like it was just like one big lake. So we have a very different history too. So yeah, you really couldn't find two places that are so different. The fact that like we both speak the same language is crazy.
Yeah. And do you find that kind of things to do with your geography and landscape find their way into your music at all?
Yeah, I think so. And it's almost more like people tell me, oh my gosh, this record just reminded me so much of the Midwest, or driving through, the fields. Like that's what it reminds me of. And I don't necessarily write based on that, but I think it's sort of inevitable that it seeps in.
Yeah. That's so interesting. Very cool. And I think later on we're going to chat about your tour a little bit and some things you're looking forward to. So we'll bring it back to location and that later on. But I thought it'd be fun to dive into the music. Everyone's got some questions. I thought I've got one to open with, if that's all right, just now in regards to the music. And I noticed that it was 2015 was when your Another Day EP came out, and from what I found out, it looked like that was your first release. So happy 11th birthday to that record, and congrats on everything since then. It's absolutely amazing. So I was going to ask, how does it feel reflecting back on that time when you were starting out? And also a sort of bonus question to that is, what advice would you give to like one of our students who's in that position now of just starting out?
Yeah, it's very weird to think about the stuff I was writing 11 years ago. I never listen to it. I never think about it. And it was very much just a reflection of my life at that time. And, like I'm older now, I've grown up, I experienced different things now. And so I would say that the advice that I would give is to just don't wait until you feel like it's perfect or you're ready. You have no idea how things are going to resonate with people, and something that you write when you're really young may be like what someone else really needs at that time. And I had a songwriting lesson when I was at that time of writing those songs, so probably mid-college. I had a songwriting lesson with somebody who at the time was sort of like a hero of mine. He was traveling through Lincoln, and I said, I'll sell your merch if you give me a 30-minute songwriting lesson. And I played for him like Desdemona and a couple other songs, and he said, the voice is great, what you're doing is great, but this is what I would do. Don't write another song for 10 years. Just live your life. Like wait till you're 30 to start writing songs. And I have to say, I'm so glad, like deep down, I knew that was horrible advice, because the thing is like, why wouldn't, young women want to hear what young women have to say? We don't all want to just hear what 45-year-old white men have to say. And so I think like I would tell any person, just make art now. Do what you can to put out art now. And don't worry so much about the audience that's going to hear it, and trust that like people are going to be moved by it if they're, the right kind of people for your music. And, it's sort of like music is never really finished. It's never perfect. I still go back and hear things. I'm like, oh man, I should have done something different on that verse or whatever, but it's never really finished. Just write what you think is meaningful and release it, and don't really care about the rest.
That's amazing advice. And I loved how you said that, like, something from a young person could totally connect to another young person. And when you think about it, like, as an older person myself, like something a young person can write can totally change my perspective on things or remind me of when I was young, and love it for that reason. So yeah, it totally crosses. So yeah, I agree. Just that advice you got initially wasn't the best. But and so tap into your life experience at any moment in time, and combine that with your imagination as well, I guess, too. Thanks so much for answering that question. And one of the songs we listened to first was Sister Moon, and Lily liked the name of it, you mentioned like stuff to do with your mum liking moon phases. Do you want to ask about that and chat about that, Lily?
Yeah, so you are right with that, David. My mum loves anything based on like moon phrases or anything to link to the moon. So how did you think of the name of the song, Sister Moon? Because obviously, like I explained, my mum loves everything to do with moon phrases. And the cool thing is my DJ name, I do DJing in our college, and I love DJing, and I've thought, how am I going to think of a good DJ name? So I thought of DJ Luna to go well with it.
I love that. That's so great. I also am like very inspired by the moon in sort of like circular shapes. I think there's such an elegance to it. The kind of the catalyst for my record Sister Moon started when I was in Newport at the Newport Folk Fest. And I remember I was talking to a local, and she was telling me that it was like hotter than ever. It was like the driest, hottest summer she'd ever had. And it's sort of just, I travel through North America a lot, and I see the changes even over the last 10 years that like climate change has had on our country, and just how many lakes are drying up. And, and I sort of was like, I really want to write a record that is sort of talking about climate change, but I want to do it in like an artistic way that doesn't feel as literal. And then at the same time, I was sort of reading something with St. Francis of Assisi of, brother, sun, sister, moon. And I thought, oh, Sister Moon, that's so beautiful. And then I started to think, okay, we have this idea of the moon, and then like the tides of the moon are so impactful to our weather systems. So it was sort of just, I was trying to find like elegant ways to discuss the climate issue. And so that's sort of how that came to be.
That's cool. Interestingly, right? That's really cool. Yeah, I love that. Lois, you were wanting to ask a little bit about the name as well, Sister Moon, weren't you?
Yeah.
What came first, the album name or the song name, Sister Moon?
Sorry, what was the first part, Lois?
What came first, the album name or the song name, Sister Moon?
So yeah, what I do every time is I write all the songs and I have them in order, and then we sort of go through with a fine-tooth comb and we have like 6 or 7 album possibility names. So I definitely wrote the song first, and then it was sort of like on the short list of potential album names, and then yeah, we just slowly whittled down and we were like, I think this is the strongest album name from the record.
That's cool. Oh, yeah, so do you quite often have the singles name first, and then later on that you just going right through it? And then do you have like other names as well as the single names mixed in with the potential album names? Yeah.
Definitely. Like right now I'm working on my next record and I have like sort of two titles that I'm going back and forth with.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's amazing. Really interesting stuff. Lily, you were one to ask again about the sort of moon concept, weren't you? A little bit, yeah.
I keep talking about this. Moon
It's
concept,
interesting. I love it. I love it. Yeah.
Did you name? So when you did the name for the song, did you think of moons, or did you think of like a certain aesthetic or style to go with the song or album?
Kind of both. I think now in today's world, this idea of like how can we connect this record to any sort of platform possible, and I mean it's silly, but like even as I make records I think about like what emojis I'll put when I
That's
post
cool.
them.
I like that. Yeah, I like that.
Oh wow, there's like 4 moon emojis. Like we can really run with this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it was as much about the concept as it was about the aesthetic, I would say.
It's such an important part of being an artist, isn't it? And even though it's changed now with social media, I think visual aesthetics always been an important part of being a music artist, right? You know, we look back at the 70s and Pink Floyd with amazing album covers and visuals, and the 80s.
Especially with I can't remember the name of the album. Is it Dark Side of the Moon?
Yeah, the Prism one.
Yeah,
I love that album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, and now maybe more than ever now we live in a very visual based world, so that kind of
I
aesthetic
think
is so
with
important.
like
isn't it?
some people, they just they sort of change the way we like look at music. Like there's been so many artists over the years who have like changed the concept of music or have done something that hasn't been done. Like say for example Michael Jackson, like
Definitely.
he added like, you know, all these moves and all that, and I think that's what made him iconic, and that's what gave him the nickname King of Pop, I
King of
believe.
King of the
Pop,
pop,
yeah.
so like his moonwalk and stuff.
King of Pop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard an amazing story recently about Michael Jackson, and because I'm a big Prince fan as well.
You are.
And
That's like
yeah,
that's
biggest.
like it's between them. It's just
And
between them. at the
apparently
moment.
Michael Jackson got his team out of bed at 3 a.m. when he got a song idea, because he was scared if he didn't do it immediately, God would give the idea to Prince instead.
How did I not know
Because
this?
they're rivals.
That is crazy.
So that source, the source from that is from the internet. So I don't know if
Oh,
it's
that's
totally true,
funny.
but I hope it's true. It's a
Yeah.
fun story.
Damn.
There's like so much interesting lore about so many different like artists, bands, and all that. There's just so much lore around it.
I love that. The cool thing is you guys can create your own lore as well, which is cool,
Definitely.
your own artist persona.
Yeah.
And speaking of writing and world building and stuff like that, Mason, shout out Mason, who helped us prepare this.
Shout out, mate.
He had a question, and I'm pretty sure he meant it in specifically to do with Sister Moon, the song, but you could talk about the other songs if you want as well. Mason was like, how long did it take to come up with the lyrics?
Okay, so for that song, I would say it all came together rather quickly. I feel like for me, songs either are written in about 20 minutes or
Okay.
they're written about 6 months. Like there's no three. You know, there's nothing in between. It's like they either come really fast or I feel like I toil over them for weeks. This latest record that I'm writing right now that my brother and I are sort of doing the arrangements and we're working on, we're going to get in the studio in a couple weeks here and start making it, was a very different process because I was writing it in the style of my song Before I Buy a Gun to sort of emulate Appalachian folk songs. And so my process for that song was different than any song I've ever done before, which was where I just did lyrics and melody. So I didn't have a guitar. And I find that it's a lot easier to write with a guitar because you sort of have this big assistance to sort of help you find melody lines, and it can flow so well. So for this whole record, I just sat on my couch with a voice, like the voice memo iPhone, just like saying lyrics and then figuring out a melody line. And I mean, I looked like a totally unwell human. Like if anyone had witnessed me doing this, they would have been like, dear God, maybe you should try something else. But that was like 6 weeks of every day being like, okay, here are the lyrics, and just like trying to find melodies. And like I'd take walks and I would have a new idea and I'd put it down. And so that was a totally different process. So like if writing with a guitar takes like 20 minutes to write out a song, like no guitar, it's like 6 weeks of working on it every day.
Yeah, and I love that because you showed up every day to do it. And one of my favorite artists is St. Vincent, Annie Clark, and she said it's almost like an exploration, and I love that. And the more you explore, the more you find, and sometimes you hit a dead end. But she sort of views music a bit like that, and it sounds like you were like that with that elusive melody. You were exploring every day to try and find it. Yeah.
I really do believe it's sort of like you have to open yourself up to it. Like if you almost feel like you're a conduit, like if you don't show up, nothing will come. But if you allow the space and time for things to flow, they will happen. And so I really do believe in the method of just like for an hour, set the timer and say, okay, I'm not going to check texts. I'm not going to make an email. Like I'm sitting here and I'm going to figure out like what's coming through.
Yeah, it reminds me of our sessions, Lily. Lily has been doing artist development in the studio.
I have.
I don't know if you want to tell Andrea a little bit about it.
So obviously every Mondays, not this Monday now because obviously I'm on study leave, but for the past few Mondays before we began to go into the summer, we've been making our own little song together, and our first ever song is now actually going to be starting to be created into a or added into a compilation album. So I have I have a help of other friends and other people around the college. I've had one student help me with like a really cool like beginning bit with like a piano, and it absolutely is amazing. It's gorgeous. I love it. And then I've just recently heard from David that I have someone who's doing the vocals, so making lyrics and even singing like a song in my actual song. So how I created the song was obviously we used Ableton Live, what's this really amazing good software that allows me to actually create my own song by using the different effects like EQs and things. And like the instrument that we connected it to was a synthesizer, because obviously both me and David are absolute synth fans.
You synth nerd
So
alert.
we literally we're literal synth nerds, so we love synths, and we used the Korg Minilog XD synthesizer, what is one of the like if I would say, if someone gave me a question saying like, oh, what was like, if you ever played a synth, what was your first ever synth? I would literally just say like the Korg Minilog XD, because that is one of my absolute favorite synthesizers I've ever used. So yeah, we were able to use a synthesizer to combine different like melodies and music to combine into our little project that I am so happy that it's finally going to be added onto a compilation album. So
and it made me think, Lois's next question made me think actually, because you've done all the production, right, and you even sang in some vocal melodies.
I did, yeah.
But lyrics is something you still like to work on and still learn a bit more. So Lois was going to ask about that next, weren't you, Lois?
Yeah, like, I don't know, where is it? There it is. Do you have any tips for writing lyrics? Because I know with some people they struggle to write lyrics and struggle to come up with a theme for like their songs or something.
Totally. I would say that, so sometimes I teach songwriting lessons to like younger kids, and one thing I notice with a lot of them is there's a real like knee-jerk response to write a ton. Like they want to get like a lot of stuff in. And I always am like, this is great. Take this concept and boil it down to the least amount of words. Like, how can you say this in the least amount of words? And I'm not talking like, I am sad, but how can you say this more effectively? Like cut as much of the fat as you can. And so I think like for beginning songwriting, that's like a good method, is because there's just a temptation just, like add so many useless words into the lyrics, and you want to boil it down as much as you can. But then also, I think that the two other things I would say is listen widely. Like, don't just listen to your favorite genre, but listen to all types of music and figure out what you think other songwriters are doing really well. How are they sharing these concepts really well? And then also become an avid reader. Read other people's words. How do other people tell stories? Read Mary Oliver's poetry, read Shakespeare, like read widely and start to develop your own voice through learning other people's voice.
Oh, that's an amazing answer as well. I'm a big
Yeah.
reader too, so I totally love that as well.
Yeah,
Just
with
kinda-
like
yeah,
listening to different
Yeah.
genres. I think I do that quite a bit. Like recently, I got into the Beatles because I was in like a really depressing. I was going through like a really depressing time, and they sort of, I sort of they sort of helped me to sort of become happier, and I found people at college who liked the Beatles as well, and I've managed to do like songs for the gigs and all that because I've done Beatles songs, and it's been really fun, and I've really enjoyed them.
it's great. And when you find that new band from a different genre
Yeah.
or era, it's so
Like, yeah.
exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, it makes me
100%.
excited for like their biopic movie
Oh my
as
god,
well.
yeah, that's gonna be so good.
Whenever that comes
One
out.
of my-
Yeah.
One of my favourite actors who's going to be in it, and is Joseph Quinn. I was like, yes!
Yeah.
I'm excited for it.
It's going to be so good.
Oh, that's awesome. Brilliant. And well, that maybe takes us on to another song we listened to, A Fox, a Bird, that we also really enjoyed. And both Lois and Lily have got questions on it. But Lois, I'll let you go first on this one. Yeah.
Why did you choose this for the ending of the album?
Yeah, this song is there's a lot going on in here. So this song sort of encapsulates the final idea of the album and sort of an idea that's going through it all. I was sort of raised in an environment of like very conservative religion and a conservative Christian religion, and I've spent a lot of time sort of unpacking those ideas. And Fox the Bird sort of is about the deconstruction of a lot of those conservative ideas. And so much of the record is intertwined with, like St. Francis and sort of like these different visions for what spirituality can be. And, also like we've had 2,000 years of Christianity and this huge sad thing of how much it's been intertwined with colonialism, which has like completely destroyed the earth. And this idea that we're supposed to have dominion over this and we're doing a terrible job, and also like that's a ridiculous idea that has like destroyed the earth. So like Sister Moon has a lot to do with that, and pushing back against these ideas. And St. Francis of Assisi was such a great voice in that of, loving the earth and caring for it and just being a part of it, not having dominion over it. And so A Fox a Bird is sort of like the final idea of pushing back against some of these more harmful things that kind of permeated what I was raised in, and trying to have a bigger, more expansive view of, our place on this earth and what we're really supposed to be doing in terms of like caring for it.
Yeah, that's really cool to have that message wrapped up. Like,
Definitely.
I'm originally from Scotland, a rural part as well, and the environment it's almost like sacred. So I totally can relate to that as well. Like, kind of this whole like care for the environment. And I guess in the UK, like a kind of media icon, we all know him as David Attenborough with his nature
definitely.
documentaries,
Yeah.
and he really promotes.
he's
I know, such a legend. He really promotes that idea of we're being part of the world, not ownership.
Yeah.
I love that, and I feel like, luckily his documentaries are worldwide. But I think,
He does so many.
We get, and he really promotes
He's
that.
like one of the British icons
He
of
is,
England.
yeah.
There's so many like people in Britain who are very like, very inspiring. Like there's quite a lot of people. There's like people out of the country as well, and loads of people who are in England and just,
Yeah, and I
inspire
think
us.
it kind of ties in with that message that you were talking about, Andrea, like kind of looking after the world, being part of it, not like kind of ruling over it. So
Like-
yeah, that really relates. Yeah.
He explains a lot about like climate change and other things, and I do remember when he talked about this one person who's an activist rights person for climate change, and that is Greta Thunberg.
Yeah.
He did explain about her, she kept. Obviously, she kept getting arrested a lot for these protests, but she's out there trying to get people understanding that what is happening to our world, what's happening to these countries, so that because of climate change, it's getting so horrible. So with obviously David Attenborough explaining about Greta Thunberg, it just goes so well with what you explained.
Yeah, and speaking of kind of film and media and David Attenborough, it maybe might be nice to move on to some of the questions about a song you've had in a film, which is cool. And I'll introduce the film for people who haven't heard about it much as well. But the movie is a film about a mother trying to help her autistic son in the 90s when not much help was available for people with autism or other neurodiversities. And we thought it was so relevant to our college because all our students are neurodiverse here. We celebrate that. So Lily, you're going to ask about the song and the film and stuff like that. Is that okay?
I did, yeah. So what made you think about joining the people who made the film and doing the song for them?
Yeah, so my friend Alexander Jeffrey was the one who did this film.
Cool.
Alex and I did a film together called A Chance Encounter. And so I had already sort of acted in a film with him and wrote the soundtrack,
Cool.
and we did the whole film in Sicily. And so then his next big project was telling the story of his friend's sort of, yeah, journey with autism and being on that spectrum. And they spent a long time making that film. It was after we shot Chance Encounter, I think that's where they started doing it. And then like over COVID, they were able to shoot a lot of it. And I knew he was working on this film. And then my brother David did the whole soundtrack. And so
Oh,
then it was sort of like, well, we want to get like a final song. We want to have, like a final song with lyrics. Because David did like a totally instrumental soundtrack. He just composed to the movie what he thought would be like a cool thing to put in at different spots and stuff. And so then I think Alex wanted to maybe use the original version, but because of costs and stuff, it's always so much more expensive. And then at that time, I was like, oh, well, my publisher is actually this guy's publisher. So we can get the publishing side cleared quickly.
cool,
And then
cool.
I would just like donate the master side to Alex so that they could use it in this film. So this is like what's so great. And I hope you all feel this working at a school together, but like, this is what's so great about making friends within your industry and, cross-contaminating industries, whether it be like film or, visual art or music, is just sort of this collective energy of let's work together to make this as good as possible. And we know that it can be so expensive to make art. And so like, how can we help each other out to make our projects as good as possible? And Alex has made so many music videos for me. He made my Portland music video, my Water Flowing Downward music video, and he's been one of the most generous collaborators I've ever worked with. And so when he says to me, will you do this for my film? Every time I'm like, of course, like just tell me what you need, we'll get it done. So it was a very collaborative effort. And I saw the film premiere at the Omaha Film Fest. And I mean, it is truly such a moving and incredible piece of work. And I think it just really shows the importance of, understanding neurodivergency, but also being supportive and helping people in the ways we can and showing up for them in any way we can, because like life is already hard, and then having your mind sometimes not work with you to help like in day-to-day life. I think it's just very important that we create villages around people when they're struggling and need help.
Yeah, 100%. That's beautifully put as well. And for our listeners, just in case you didn't catch it or we didn't say it, the song was You've Got a Friend in Me, which was a cover of, the famous one that's in Toy Story. The film was You Have No Idea, which is from 2024. And we all preferred your version to the original. We all just joking.
It was
We
better.
genuinely did. So listeners, go and listen to that if you haven't had the chance yet as well. And a quick question on this before we talk about the tour, because we want to definitely get that in before our time runs out.
Yeah.
But Mason was wondering, we all preferred the version, this version. It was a bit more jazzy, and he was like, what made you go for that version? Did you think it up, or did it just happen when you were writing it in the studio, or how did you go for that style?
Yeah, well, so my brother David played the piano on it, and we knew we sort of wanted to just do piano vocal, and we also wanted something kind of simple and stripped down. So we had a pretty good idea we were just going to do piano vocal, and we got in the studio, and I mean, it came together very quickly, and it was sort of like, okay, this is the version we want. So it really wasn't super premeditated. It was very free form.
Oh, amazing. That's so cool. We could easily talk about it more, but I do want to chat about the tour because we're so excited. You're touring all over the UK. So, Lois, we'll jump to your
Yeah.
question about the tour to start with, please.
What can we expect from the tour?
So this is my second time touring the UK and Scotland, or yeah, UK, Scotland and England. And I think I played the major cities last time I came through, and I was with my friend Lydia Luce, and we sort of co-billed. This is going to be different. I'm going to be doing sort of like an evening with sort of show. So a lot of songs from different records. I also have been known to do quite a bit of storytelling. So it's going to be a sort of story, songs, sort of collaborative from all my different records, and just like a nice night of music. I think it'll be entertaining and also uplifting. I've been sort of doing these songs for hope and change across America the last year and a half, and so there'll be quite a bit of like protest songs and songs that people know. So it's gonna be a good time.
Amazing. That's cool. That was, and some of the protest songs, like we did listen to Before I Buy a Gun, how it almost sounds like a hymn, and we found out a bit about the background on it. So, yeah, that's amazing that your songs have these messages in it. And we could talk about that more, but I think there's a few more questions about the tour we want to find out. So, Lily, maybe you can ask the Mason question
Yeah,
about the tour,
sure.
if that's cool.
So Mason was wondering, is this your first time in the UK, and are there any locations in the UK that you are excited to visit when you come?
Yes, so this is my second time playing in the UK, but I haven't played a lot of these cities before. So,
Cool.
when I played the UK, it's been like London, Glasgow, like you're just hitting the majors. I have played Brighton before. But so like Sheffield, Bristol, Birmingham, no, Petworth, like I've never played any of these places, which is exciting and a little daunting because you're sort of like, who the heck is gonna show up to these shows? But I've heard great things about all the venues, so yeah, I'm excited for all of it. I really love England. I've also visited there twice just for fun. And I love the north. I love Yorkshire. The landscape is so beautiful. The
Yeah.
sea is wonderful, and also I'm a massive foodie, and so I love the Indian food. I'm absolutely obsessed with trying new Indian food places, and I've asked my email list to please give me the great details of like the local spots I should be going to. So I'm really excited.
That's really cool. And I actually lived near Petworth before, and you mentioned it.
Gosh.
If it's the same one, and it's really rural, and there's like a beautiful like castle grounds there that you can walk around in and stuff. If it's the same Petworth, it's really beautiful.
Gosh, I hope it is.
I'm pretty sure it's in Surrey, right? Yeah, that's one of the counties. Anyway, there might be another. I hope I'm not setting you up for the wrong thing, but yeah, and yeah, I think you're gonna have amazing. Bristol's an amazing city with the harbour. You know, there's so many good places you're
It's
hitting
like
up
so
there.
many places in the UK just to visit.
Yeah, you're
There's
gonna
like-
have a great time.
You did remind me of one place when you explained about the one that you went to.
Yeah.
Sorry, that I might recommend, and it's in the Kentish area, and it's near Dover,
Oh yeah.
and it's called Kersney Abbey. It's
Oh, I love it
yeah,
there.
it's absolutely gorgeous. So it's it's like a park, but like not a play park, but it's got a play park for kids in there. But it's for like people with dogs, or just want to go walking around. And the waterfalls, and the scenery, I can speak, is absolutely gorgeous. And I've been there like multiple times. And during during the summertime, or maybe when the weather's like really nice, it's absolutely gorgeous to walk around, and I love it.
Brilliant. And whilst you were saying that, I just checked, and it is the same Petworth, and it's Petworth House and Park.
Hey.
So you come on the podcast, and you get a few holiday recommendations too.
Oh, I love it. And that one in Petworth is the Yellow Moon Festival. So that's a music fest. So there'll be like a bunch of artists there for that time.
Awesome. That's so cool. And speaking of other musicians, Lois, you wanted to ask about that, right?
Yeah. Is there anyone else who's coming on the tour with you? Like other musicians? Is there going to be like support acts or people helping in the
great question.
background?
That's a great question. So I will just be doing a solo set, but for most of the venues, we have local openers who will be playing as well. So it should be a really nice night of sort of, blending a local songwriter with then, this random person from maybe Nebraska.
That's amazing. Well, we're almost out of time, so I want to say a massive, huge thank you for giving us your time today, jumping on Zoom, across the Atlantic to us. It's just so cool to have this opportunity. It's super inspiring for all of us here in the room, but also our students who are going to get to watch this back and have a listen to it back too as well. So thank you so much, Andrea, and I hope you have an amazing time
so much. This is
across.
really fun.
It was really cool. And also shout out to Lily as well. And we had Lois as well on the podcast today. So
That's wonderful.
absolutely magic. Yeah, thanks so much. And enjoy the tour. And anyone listening, there's different places online you can find out the tour details. But Andrea von Kampen's Bandcamp has all the tour dates, and you can buy records and merch and stuff on there as well. Is there anywhere else you'd like to direct people to?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's great. AndreaVonKampen.com, that also has everything you need to know. And if you sign up for my newsletter, I send them out twice a month with information and stories and things. So there's many ways to connect. But thank you all so much for having me today. This has been so great.
It's been so fun. And yeah, well, have a great time. Thanks so much, guys. We'll catch you later. Bye.
Bye.